Long time no see. Can we talk about fear of imperfection? More importantly, can we talk about how much our need to do things perfectly or right, or even just slightly better than right now will entail, messes with our personal responsibility to simply get shit done? Guilty as charged. Lately, I've been the queen of procrastination with certain aspects of my business, but particularly with my weekly messages. I've been making a lot of changes behind the scenes, and I've been frozen in submission with some of the work I need to do. At the start of the year, I decided that these messages needed to be better and stronger, different than they have been, with stronger topics, tighter messaging, a clearer focus on keywords and trending topics so they boost my SEO, blah, 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 blah. I decided that I needed polish, and honestly, I haven't had time for polish. So instead, I've procrastinated, I've made excuses, and I've ultimately ignored content creation in the form of these weekly messages. So much for personal accountability, which leads to the question, what does personal accountability have to do with fear of imperfection? Well, personal accountability is the commitment to take ownership of our actions, decisions, and outcomes, both successes and failures, as we work towards our goals. It means following through on obligations, admitting when something isn't working, and trying our best to align daily behaviors with our values and goals. And I haven't been very good at this, especially where these weekly messages are concerned. And I've come to realize that my desire to do it right has led to not doing it all. My excuses will be anywhere from I don't have a solid script, my hair is a mess, my office is too, I look tired, my clothes are wrong and I don't feel like changing, I can't get the messaging perfect. I mean, heck, Mercury is in retrograde. It might as well be one of the excuses because none of them are very good. So I had really no legitimate reasons and just excuses that fed my fear of imperfection and of not being good enough. I don't know if you can relate to that. I'm sure many of you can. Well, this fear of imperfection has been wreaking havoc with my personal accountability and derailing progress towards my goals. And quite frankly, I just haven't been feeling very good about missing my weekly messages. So here are 3 ways that imperfect or fear of imperfection can mess with the 3 ways that it can show up. Number 1, procrastination due to perfection paralysis. I think I've made it very clear that this has been me. You may delay starting or completing tasks because you fear the outcome won't meet your own very high standards. Guilty. This all or nothing mindset inevitably leads to inaction, even when the goal is worthwhile. I quite like making my weekly messages, but for some reason I decided that they weren't good enough, and that has put me into paralysis. Number 2, and this can certainly be the case if you are in a work environment where you're working with people, collaborating, and that's this fear of being judged or exposed for not doing something perfectly. And it leads us to dodge our accountability check-ins. It leads us to avoid progress reviews or asking for feedback or creating environments of collaborative goal setting because I'm showing up and I haven't done the thing. And so then I run. And that reduces both ownership in the partnership and momentum on the project. And number 3 is that it sets unrealistic standards and leads to burnout. Perfectionists, and I use that term loosely because I'm having trouble admitting that I might be one. Perfectionists often set overly ambitious expectations, which make the goals harder to attain, sometimes by design. So if you inevitably fall short on the goal, then self-criticism and disappointment replaces that motivation. If you've been self-talking or shitting on yourself the way that I have been doing to myself in the weeks past, then you'll know what I'm talking about. Again, it leads to a drop in follow through and accountability. I personally identify with 1 and 3, but I'd be curious to know if any of them relate to you. But here's what I'm doing. First of all, I have shifted from an outcome focus to an effort focus. Instead of obsessing over a perfect result, I'm celebrating consistent, imperfect effort and progress, which not only reduces pressure, it makes room for learning through trial and error. I'm doing it imperfectly, and I'm going to see what comes of it. Number 2, I'm being kinder to myself as I figure this out. Mistakes and setbacks are a part of growth, not, and I'm going to underline the not evidence of failure. Whew, let that land. The low spots, they build emotional resilience and remind us to try again even after setbacks. I often say it in my presentations, and I need to take my own advice. Don't call it failure, call it research. Feels good to say that. Finally, I'm taking imperfect action. I'm completing this somewhat impromptu video, come heck or high water, and detaching from the end result. Or rather, I'm choosing to believe that whatever I create will be good enough, and more importantly, uniquely me. The end result will be imperfect. My videos always are, but I hope the message will land. It's the personal accountability that I'm choosing for myself to get over my recent fear of imperfection. And really, what is wrong with imperfection if it kicks us into action? Think about that. Where in your work or life are you holding yourself back because you think you need more time to get it right? And what first step will you take today to kick into gear? For me, it's this imperfect, crooked, uncentered, hair's shitty, office is messy video. And I'm pretty pleased about that. Until next time, I'm Michelle Cederberg, reminding myself that in order to ignite high performance, you just have to take action. Period. That's it. Until next time.